Fix cars and have a good time.
All right. So what we're gonna go over is after treatment. Gotta find a marker that works.
Oh, I figured you'd be logged on to it on there.
So after treatment system.
I gotta sneak around there and take attendance.
So
Throw it at the teacher. There you go.
You need a pin on the right too.
maybe. All right. So. All right. So after treatment system on diesel vehicles. Okay. We're not talking about heavy duty trucks here. We're talking about cars, trucks. Okay. All right. So this kind of all started back in the early 2000s. All right. So we'll start with this. So in 2003, they mandated EGR. Okay. So EGR. Okay. So this applied to Ford only. Okay. Because Ford didn't have any emissions credits built up with the EPA. Okay. So.
Oh, good. I got it all taken care of.
In 2003, EPA required Ford Motor Company to run EGR. Okay, so this was the infamous 6.0 liter power strokes. Okay, so in 2000, mid-production 04, GM ran out of emissions credits. So they had to go to EGR. Okay? In 2000 and mid-production 2007, Dodge went to EGR. Okay? So, what does EGR do? What's the main thing EGR is used for?
Recycles fresh air back in the exhaust.
But what for?
To make the tailpipe clean.
What are we trying to reduce by using EGR?
NOx emissions.
NOx. Okay.
Makes that easy.
Yep. So, what causes NOx?
Engines.
That too.
Excessive fuel.
Heat the cylinder.
All right, there you go.
Heat the cylinder. Okay? That's what creates NOx. So our early form of emissions control on diesel engines started with EGR. Okay? So that was all in an effort to reduce NOx. So with diesel engines, our two biggest factors that we deal with is NOx, right? What's the other thing that we fight on diesels? Two big things. Particulate. Okay? Heavy particulate matter. Okay? That's what I don't think that marker is showing up, is it?
So that would be all the black soot.
Yep.
What you're calling that?
It's deep part of the filter.
I guess you can see a little better, right? All right, so we help reduce NOx by using EGR, right? So how do we help this?
DPS.
Yep, we start with DPFs. Okay? Diesel particulate.
You did that right.
There we go. I think it's
Your
markers.
markers up.
That one's better. All right, so does anybody know what the first truck to get DPF?
First. Truck, I know
Yeah,
Doug got
light
it
duty
in
truck.
2010.
That would be a Ford.
First light duty.
That'd be Ford.
Had to be a Ford, but what year?
2008.
They were the first.
So 2008, Ford released the biggest pile of crap they've ever made. The 6.4 liter. Okay? It was common rail injected. Okay? This is important. The 6.0s were Huey. Okay? 6.4 was common rail. Okay? Just like your Dodges and your Duramaxes. Okay? So, then Dodge in 2010. So 2010, along with, so this was Dodge and GM, had enough emissions credits with the EPA that they did this in 2010. Okay? So they started using DPFs. So let's start with just the DPF. So we have I think you need to order markers.
We have no markers.
There, that one's a good one. All right. So, DPFs.
DPS.
I got that just stuck in my head today.
You got the differential pressure, whatever the Ford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, DPFs, okay? So, there's multiple stages in the DPF system, okay? So, up here, so there's your downpipe. And we have a cat. Y'all make fun of my picture.
It don't look like a cat to me.
So we have our cat, and then we have this monster behind it. Okay? This is the DPF. There we go. So we have another part over here, right? That's on our tailpipe.
Where's the camera? Wrong side.
So we got our tailpipe back here.
We have a colon.
Don't erase it. I've got to get a picture of it.
It's okay, it's recorded.
All right, so we have a catalyst, we have the particulate filter, and then we have an extraction tip. Okay? All this stuff has to work all together. Okay? So, what they did, so Ford and Dodge used post-pilot injection for the regeneration process. Okay? So, what that is so you have your cylinder, right? And we got our little piston in here. He's hanging out. He's all cool. Little connecting rod. Shut up. So, as the piston comes up on its compression, or before it gets to compression, okay, it's going to start a pre-pilot injection. Okay? So, this is going to start the combustion event. Piston comes up. It does a main event.
Which is under compression stroke?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then, as the piston's traveling back down, it does a post-injection.
Upwards of 3 times.
Yep.
That's what made them get a lot quieter too, right? When they started doing that.
Yep.
That's
coming around.
Yep. So as the piston's going down, it's going to make an event, up to multiple events, depending on the vehicle. So as the piston starts to come back up on its compression stroke, or on exhaust stroke, this is full of atomized diesel fuel. Okay? That is going to come out the exhaust, whoop, and it's going to travel down here. Okay? Then it is going to start to ignite. Okay? So it's going to start building temperature through the DPF. Okay? So, you also have EGT sensors, pyrometers. Okay? You have one here. You have one here. And you have one here. Okay? Some systems have 4. Some have 3. So, which one of those is the hottest?
Probably the one in the
It's
middle.
it's the beginning of the DPF, right?
It's this one.
Middle one.
What's your coldest?
The outlet.
Should be,
Yep.
with a more normal running engine.
Unless you got 4 and it's blowing flames out there.
Yep.
Yep.
And your next one is this one. Okay? So, another thing is that when we're looking at these pyrometers,
Are you cock chopping?
so we're looking at these pyrometers. This comes down in here just a couple of inches. Okay? Why is this not all the way down to the middle?
What's that?
Burn the tip off. So hot in the middle. It's hot.
It is hot.
It's hot.
So we want to make sure that this entire filter is hot. So where's going to be your coldest point in the filter?
On the outside.
On the outside,
edges.
right? So our temperature in here under regeneration, okay, can be as high as
18.
1800, 2000.
600 degrees C.
Celsius.
Yeah, which is about 1112 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? That's about the temperature that you see inside of a DPF. So if you have a restriction in this DPF, okay? So say we're starting to get full of soot, okay? What's going to happen to this number?
It's gonna go up.
It'll be
Hotter.
Yep,
Increase.
yep. So it takes 600 degrees C to start burning
Whatever's in there.
the soot out of the system, okay? So once we get above about 650 C, somewhere in there,
Dear,
and higher,
can you call Granny and let her know that Cadence
is when we
antibiotic is ready?
have,
$10. Can you call Granny and let her know that Cadence antibiotic is ready? It is $10.
We just having a good time.
Justin Braley needs $10 for antibiotic.
For granted.
Sorry.
so
Beauty.
whenever this temperature starts to get excessive, it's going to start breaking down this filter, okay? And if we get too hot, so let's say we're at 750 degrees C, it'll completely shut the truck down. It'll stop fueling everything, try to cool that thing down, okay? So it's trying to just try to save that particulate filter, okay? So all of this is possible because of common rail injection. Because now we can have multiple injection events. Okay.
Anytime you want to light that injector or let that fuel through.
Yep. Yep,
Pressure's
it'll figure
there.
out what it wants to do.
Pressure don't drop enough, starve the system, so.
Yep. So that's our basic system, right? That's what we started out with, Ford in 2008. Okay. So 2011 rolls around. Okay. 2011 rolls around, and guess what Ford's ran out of again?
The credits.
Emissions credits. So now Ford has had in development for a few years the Scorpion engine. Okay? We have actually known it as the 6.7 liter Power Stroke. Okay? So the 6.7 Power Stroke it's a great engine. It really is. And it was kind of ahead of its time a little bit with what they were doing. So Ford kind of worked out some kinks in the beginning. Okay, like everybody did with DEF injection. Right? Ford had serious problems with it. Okay? Stuff getting plugged up, not working, going into fail-safe mode, but they worked the kinks out of it first before anybody else got a hold of it. So, correct me if I'm wrong, 2013 with Dodge.
13, when it started.
So Ford, man, that's not right today. So 2013 was Dodge and General Motors. Started with,
Yeah,
yep, started with DEF injection. Okay?
when the fuel company went back up.
Yep. So, these guys, so DEF is simply to be used as a reduction of
Particulate, right?
NOx.
Emissions. No.
NOx. NOx is our enemy of diesel engines. So, I'm going to draw another one of my awesome pictures again. Be prepared. So,
Been that way a long time.
so now we've added another component into this system. Okay? So we still have our DPF. Okay? We still have our catalyst. Okay? But most of them at this point are integrated with the DPF. Okay? So now we've added our DEF injector. Okay? So now we have a DEF injector. Yeah, there we go. So this is, yep, reducer. Okay? So this is going to inject urea. Okay? So that's going to start injecting it down the pipe. Okay? So now we have slightly cooler DPF temperatures, not drastically, but they're a little bit better. So the DEF converts NOx into what?
H2O,
Yep.
water.
So it converts it into
H2O.
H2O.
Yep. Converts it into water vapor. So if you walk up behind one, it smells like water vapor. So that's basically what's outputting out of the tailpipe, is water vapor. So inside the DPF, we still have our same basic thing going on, right? We got a big grid that's full of platinum and other heavy metals, okay? And then we have the DEF system that is converting NOx into H2O. Okay? So, I need to cover this. So, Ford and Dodge use post-pilot injection for regeneration. GM, in their infinite wisdom, they put a 9th fuel injector in here. Okay? So they put a 9th injector in the pipe. So now it's spraying diesel into this mix. Okay? So what could possibly go wrong with putting a fuel injector inside of an exhaust pipe?
Let's see, fire. Things melting, things causing the fires, catching a fire, or the whole damn truck melting down.
You can line up the roadside.
Yep. So the biggest problem with this was soot. Soot would clog it. Right? So this injector is only running at about 55 PSI. Okay? It's low pressure injector. Okay? So this starts doing that. Well, this starts getting full of soot. Okay?
Dribbling,
Starts dripping.
puddling,
It starts puddling. Where does it go?
right down in the cat, down the bottom of the filter.
Nope. We can't get that lucky.
He's passing it,
It tries to go out tailpipe.
raw diesel.
Raw diesel. So if this doesn't completely clog or doesn't shut itself down, it's going to keep adding fuel to this DPF. It's going to go through a regeneration process. So we're going to have our ignition, and it's going to try to clean this out as best it can. But it can't fully get rid of it. Okay? So this happens over a prolonged period of time, and then we start to get a DPF that's saturated. Okay? So whenever a particulate filter is full of soot, you know what we call that measurement?
Differential pressure or something.
Soot mass index. Okay? That's what we refer to as soot mass index. So that is measured by gram. Okay? And the calculation is basically 1 square inch over a meter. It's something weird. Is how it's calculated. So basically, you take a 1 square inch piece of tube that's 3 feet long, would hold 20 grams of matter. Okay? How they figure it out. So this starts to get full. Soot mass goes through the roof. Okay? Once it reaches a certain level, okay, it's generally around 15 grams.
Abby?
It can no longer regen. Okay? It says, I got way too much in me. I can't regen.
Replacement only?
Nope. So what do we do? What's the first thing you do?
Pull it off.
Go out and drive the shit out of it.
Clean it.
Stationary regen. Right?
Force regen.
Force regen.
Force a regen.
So we're going to force a regen on this thing. And say we get this down to 12 grams. Okay? Still way too high. All right?
Another one?
Are you going to force another regen on it?
Pull it out.
You can. I wouldn't recommend it. You can. The only ones I'd ever recommend that you try to do another force regen on, if it's that high, is a Dyna. It's the only one. I wouldn't try it on a GM, and we'll get to this in a minute. But if it's European, don't do it.
Yeah.
So
And
So if you're doing the Dodge,
drive the shit out of it, and then you can.
yeah,
figure it out.
like what Mike said, do it again, go drive the crap out of it. See if you can get it to do
Regular regen.
a regular regen, and that will help drive that down even further. Dodges are actually pretty good about this, okay? And part of that, why they're much better at this, is the Cummins injection system, okay? Like Mike said earlier, this was capable of 680 events during a cycle.
Multiple cycle, yeah.
Yep. So it can do whatever it needs to. It's not really that limited as it is with Ford and GM. Okay. They
Abby,
don't
where you at?
do what? Okay. So let's get more to this soot mass index because this is really important. Okay. So that's the basics of how it works. So soot mass is really important, guys. So
Yeah.
if you're dealing with most trucks, okay, you can try to force a regen at 15 grams. Okay.
All brands, Dodge.
So Ford, Dodge, GM,
Okay.
right? You can force that regen. If you're higher than this, don't try it. You're wasting your time at that point. Okay?
Probably won't run.
If you are dealing with a VW or a DD, okay, you're dealing with a Volkswagen or an Audi, and you see 15 grams, do not attempt to do a forced regen.
Isn't like 10 like their limit or something like that?
Yeah. Don't do it. Okay? The biggest reason why not to do it is because of auto ignition. Okay? It's like for real. So if you look at the Audi, Volkswagen, Irwin on these systems, they tell you that it can catch the car on fire. It's happened. I've actually melted pavement underneath doing a stationary regen. Okay? So if you see 15 grams on an Audi or Volkswagen, replace the filter. Don't even attempt it. Okay? If you see somewhere between 10 and 12 grams, attempt it. Okay? See if you can get it split. Okay? You can do a dynamic or a static regen on Audis and Volkswagen. I recommend that you do the static first. And so you're going to let it run for about a minute. Okay? And then you're going to go do your dynamic. Okay? Your dynamic can take anywhere from 10 miles to 70 miles. Okay? Wow. If it is a manual transmission, you have to be in fourth gear. Okay? You have to be between 45 to 65 miles per hour.
That's around 2,200.
Yep. So if you do not meet any of this criteria, it will stop the regeneration process. However, once you do meet those, it will immediately go back into it. It's a function of scan or dynamic regeneration. Okay?
Won't lose count.
Nope.
Start right back up.
It'll go right back in.
So,
It'll go right back into doing it.
keep it out of the window and
If I can ask, if we replace it because it is at 15 grams of soot matter, we put a new one in there, that means it's zero, it's clean, it's brand new.
but you need to find out what's causing the problem.
we need to still fix the car. That's not the cause.
That's a result
That's
of.
the result of the problem.
So the main reason that you will see this number this high for what we do is body shops. Okay?
Idling around.
No. So you get Mr. Bodyman, right? He's super awesome mechanic. He puts the charge tubes in and doesn't get them tight. That car starts to leak boost and then blows one off. Guess what happens?
Loaded it up.
It can't compensate for that little of airflow, so it starts overfueling. When it starts overfueling, guess what happens?
Soot goes up.
Your soot mass goes through the roof. Okay? A good example of this is that I had a Volkswagen Jetta TDI. Okay? Came in, soot mass index was about 25 grams. Okay? Blew it off, I drove it about 9-10 miles back to the shop. Smoking like a freight train. Okay? So, they reconnect the boost tubes, get everything hooked up, and guess what?
Everything's not great.
It ain't peachy.
It's
Man.
forcing shutdown because the
Yep. Okay? So, I jump in it, and I see my foot passing through the roof. I'm not going to attempt to force it down. Order me a filter. Okay? So they get a brand new DPF for it. They get in the car. I go through and I reset everything. So I still had, after resetting everything, I still had 20 grams of the registry. Okay? That's not abnormal. Okay? After you've had one that jacked up. So we have a brand new DPF in it. What do?
Go drive it.
Nope.
no, it's
They'll never get there.
It's still
Regen.
Yep.
Brand
Regen
new.
it. Brand new.
You gotta hope
Regen it.
it'll take it. Or clean it up some.
So the only time that it's calculating soot mass is under regen. Okay.
So it won't reset
Ah.
Until it goes to the
So it
regen.
still thinks it's got the old filters.
Yep.
Is there any kind of reset you have to do for like 6 gram mass or anything like that?
Yep.
So it knows that it's got a new filter?
Yes and no.
Okay. So you
So-
just have to do a regen and
Yep. You have to do a regen to get that to drop down. Because it's how you go in there and clear it 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 and clear it. Right. And then you end up with a completely plugged DPF and the car auto ignites. Okay? That's the reason that's
Is this,
built.
on,
That's safety.
is this on all of them, or is this just Volkswagen specifically on this?
Talking about Volkswagen Audi right there.
All right.
So, Volkswagen Audi, or we're not. So, I go do force regen, right? I let my force regen run for about 15 minutes. Okay? Guess what I dropped the soot mass to?
8.
You weren't that trouble.
1. 0. Negative 23 grams.
Nope. I added 3 grams. How in God's green did that happen?
Everything in front of the filter was filled up wet too.
No.
Why do you keep telling me no tonight?
was it because what happened is or because it was compensating because of the charge tube being off?
Still overfueling.
Still overfueling. Trying to figure itself out. So I go in, I clear everything. This car is completely new on strategy at this point. Okay?
All adapters, everything.
I go drive it. Okay? I'm cruising around in 4th gear. I go down George Bush to the tollway, Sam Rayburn, back down. Made a big circle. Okay? I drove this stupid car. I think the grand total was 170 miles. And guess what my soot max was?
Still
23.
After driving the stupid thing nearly 200 miles, I thought I got soot mass to drop.
So So it's now reading itself,
It's now reading properly.
reading properly.
This is very abnormal, okay? But this thing was in rough shape, okay? So if you have one of these that has been in this type of situation, it's going to take you some time.
You have to drive it.
It's going to be a beating. But that's the only way to get those things to clear, okay? So the other issue that I had with this that it took me a little bit to figure out in the middle of this was the muffler was full of soot. So it wasn't allowing all the exhaust to actually leave it. So that was another thing I kind of figured out in the middle of this. This took me 3 days to figure out the stupid car, what was going on with it. So if you run into these that bad, it's a process. It's not easy. Get with your shop, tell them, look, here's the deal. You know, this is what it's going to be. And that's just the way it is. They take it to Volkswagen or Audi, they're going to tell them the same thing. Higher price. Yep, with much higher price. So, Audi Volkswagens are probably the more difficult of them all. And also, your newer Audis and Volkswagens also use DEF. Okay? It's required on everything 13 and up. They all have DEF. Okay? So, now we get to the Mercedes. Right? We're dealing with Mercs now. Okay? These are actually the easier of the system. I'm not talking about sprinters. Not talking about sprinters. We're not talking about the, we're talking about blue techs. Right? So the your SUVs, your cars that are Mercedes blue tech engine. Okay. So one thing that's really cool about the blue tech motor is the injection system. It is really freaking slick. Okay. So we have our cylinder. Okay. We got our cool little piston here hanging out. Okay. So the cool thing about the blue tech engine is that it can run the injection event at any time. Anytime. Okay? So in a full rotation of the crank, it can do an injection event whenever it so. Okay? So the cool thing about this is that it can run ultra like
That's smart.
crazy lean. So our big trucks, right, that use the selective regenerating catalysts, right, our DEV systems, they run really lean. Okay? This runs even leaner. Okay? This runs a positive stoichiometric. It is ridiculously lean. Okay? So, whenever it runs lean, what does it have less of?
Power.
NOx. What else? All less particulate matter.
Yeah.
Lot less. Mercedes can actually pass EU emissions regulations without DPF. That's how clean that motor runs. Okay? And that is because of the injection system. Oh, anytime in this, it can pop off an injection event whenever it needs to do it. And whenever it does the injection event, it is incredibly small. Incredibly small. Okay?
Milliseconds.
Yeah, it is very, very small, these injection events. So as the piston's coming up, right, it may start the injection event. All right, so this is TVC. It may start its pre-injection here, right? The piston will be down here.
hell.
Yep. It's going to get fuel moving. It's going to start atomizing that fuel, right? And get all stirred up, okay? So, also, I don't know what people's level of knowledge of diesel is, but does everybody know the top of the diesel piston looks like?
It's dished, little couple.
Yeah, it's got a little in the center with a little tower. You know what we call them? Probably not appropriate, but we call them Mexican hat pistons. That's what they look like. They're very giant sombrero. So, anyway, so whenever this piston is down here is traveling, it's going to make it into the low fuel. So as that piston is traveling up, that hat and that piston makes the air start tumbling, right? So it'll start mixing itself. The other thing that it does is the piston's inside that little dome, right? So if we took a little cross section of the piston, it looks something like that. Shut up, Baker.
I was not thinking.
Yes, you were. So the fuel's down in here, and it's mixing all of itself up. So this fuel's staying low to the piston, okay? Right? Because it's heavier than the air. So it's going to start to settle down here. So when that happens, as the piston is traveling up, we're going to start our flame propagation. It's going to start right in here on our flame propagation. So this starts to ignite. This begins to push pressure this way, right? So now our piston's coming up a little bit further. We've already got a burn going, right? We got hot coals. So we're just going to stoke it a little bit. We're going to throw another injection event in. Let's say somewhere in there, right? Now we got a really lean burn. It's hot, right? We're making power. So then as the piston gets closer to PDC, somewhere in here, it's going to fire off another injection event. We're going to put another one on it, right? Now we got a full furnace cooking, right? We got all sorts of fuel burning in here, right? We got flame moving up. We're producing power. So the piston gets to TDC. It's going to fire off its main event, okay? Maximum cylinder pressure, right? Bam! When that injection event happens, it's going to start forcing that piston back down, okay? Now we've burned every bit of fuel that we have in there, okay? Well, most of it. So now we're going to do another event somewhere around here.
On a deep compression stroke.
Yep. And that
Push it down.
Yep, that little bit of ignition is going to force the piston down, and we're going to completely burn that fuel mixture, right? So then, whenever our little exhaust valve opens over here,
Clean, breathable air comes out.
it's clean. We burned everything. Okay, so it's looking at piston speed on its way down by looking at the crank sensors, right? So if it thinks, okay, that piston is moving, you know, a little bit too quick, I can put a little extra fuel in there. Oops. Okay, so now it's not going to do another injection event. It's going to stop.
Tell it
Done. But if this piston starts to move slower down, it's going to pop off another injection event, right? Because I want to make sure all that fuel is burned out of that cylinder. So once it knows that it's burning clean, good. It'll do whatever it needs to do, right? So now, let's say it needs a region, okay? So now under region, it may put an injection event here and an injection event here. No cylinder pressure, okay? So we got no cylinder pressure, we're gonna make an ejection event, okay? So our exhaust valve opens, raw fuel goes down the tailpipe, ignites the particulate filter, and we are cooking, okay?
Breathe again.
Yep. So this is a pretty cool system.
how are they able to control, I mean, you pretty much told us already with the speed, the cam, the crank, taking all these things into consideration for the optimum 14-to-1 compared to fuel ratio.
No, diesel.
It's a diesel
No.
system.
Only 1-to-1.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, it's diesel, but you know what I'm saying? To get the optimum burn, to get to clean, that computer reading those sensors knows how much fuel to put in.
Yep.
And can take it and give it at any time in the stroke.
So then we have some
That's
sensors.
gotta be fuel mileage, right?
Yep.
On top of everything else. Good fuel
So
mileage.
this also has some other things also, just like our big trucks, right? We have pyrometers, we have pressure transducers, we have NOx sensors. Okay? That all kind of tie into this, right? So if we start seeing excessive NOx, we're going to change our fuel strategy, right? It's constantly changing, okay? So, BMW. I'm going to forewarn you, if you've ever thought about it in your life, owning a BMW diesel product, go jump off a bridge. They're garbage. From the word go. These things have horrible problems with fuel injectors. They have DEF systems. And when this system goes haywire, it doesn't like to be fixed at all. Okay? This is one of those vehicles that if it's a diesel, you're replacing it. Just do it. If you have an issue with the DEF system, you need a tank, you need a pump, you need a heater, you need a doser module, you need a DME, you need taillight bulbs, you need a new radio, you need a new shift knob, probably tires, and maybe some tire on it. And you might get it fixed. Okay? These things are horribly unreliable. Okay? The biggest issue that they've had is the X5. So the X5 3.5D. Okay? These guys are very problematic. Okay? So the fun part about these, one common issue, is our little cool guy fuel injector. Okay? They actually look just like a Cummins fuel injector or a GM Duramax. They look nearly identical. Okay? Except for whenever they built these fuel injectors, there's little electrical connectors up here at the top, little 8 millimeters on top. Then you got your little threaded hose that comes off of them.
Which one did they find it?
So whenever they design these injectors, right? So GM, Ford, Volkswagen, all those guys, right? They use very high quality materials when they build these fuel injectors. Well, some companies, right? BMW is like, why do we do that? We just use a little Heineken can. So they built the fuel injectors out of old Heineken cans. Okay? So what happens when you take old Heineken cans and you get them hot a whole bunch of times? Yep.
Do everything but what they're supposed to do.
They also like to crack. Shut up, Baker. They like to crack. Okay? What happens to fuel that is somewhere in between 5,000 and 10,000 PSI?
It goes wrong.
Has least resistance.
Absolutely.
So if you had 6 little nozzles here at the side of the tip of the injector, you got a big old gaping hole here. Where's it go?
Out the side.
How's a big old gaping hole? Right? So, you got a big old gaping hole, sleeping off fuel. What happened?
Goes down.
Now even better. It fills the engine full of diesel.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it bad enough to where it'll liquid lock it?
Yep.
Can be bad.
Yep. So the other cool thing about these is that they don't use any sort of a cup. in here,
Oh,
right?
right on the head.
So guess what the cylinder head is made out of on the BMW diesel?
Corona.
Corona can. So it's aluminum.
Right.
Amen.
So if you take liquid at 10,000 psi and spread it against something aluminum, what happens to it?
You etch your way into it.
You edge your way into it, right? So now, because of this issue, you can put motor in it. Not very good design.
For reliability and dependability.
Yep. So the first telltale sign that's happening is smoke the tailpipe. Start to lay down tailpipe. It's the first thing. You'll start that. After that, you'll start to see a reduction in power, and it goes south from there.
Goes to make it all.
Yep. Starts making a mess. So luckily, there's not a ton of BMW diesels that we deal with. I think Robert's the only one I can remember in recent history that had to mess with one. So luckily, we don't have to mess with it. So, want to cover something else? I don't know.
We've done big trucks, we've done Volkswagen, we've done BMW, all the diesel brands. Well,
Who is that?
Oh, now I remember. Sorry. All right. So one other thing I want to cover in all of this, while we're kind of on the subject, that's also another key component of these systems, are the turbos. Okay. Boost pressure is really important on these systems. Okay. So we all now in modern diesel engines, we're all using some type of VGT. Right, some sort of variable geometry turbo. Okay, it may be a compounded system, it may be a twin scroll system, but we are using some type of a VGT system. Okay, we've gone away from wastegates. That's a thing of the past. Right, so now we've gone to VGT turbos. Okay, so the cool thing about VGT is that we can create boost pressure at any RPM. Okay, so as with your fixed geometry turbos, right? You had to play with the wastegate to get boost, right? Well, now with variable geometry turbos, we can actuate the turbine side, right? And we can create boost pressure. Okay, so a part of that is that whenever we're going through these regeneration processes, okay, so we have our turbo, okay, so this comes down, right, we got our intercooler, and that goes up to our intake, okay, so we have to have adequate boost pressure, right, because we've got to be able to move volume of air through the system. So we can take this turbo, this little guy here, and we can start a regeneration process. Okay? So this guy, we may be at 1,500, 2,000 RPM, somewhere in there, 1,500. Okay? And we can produce about 9 PSI boost during a regen, sometimes it's more. So we can produce boost pressure under no load, right? We don't have to have load on the motor to create boost. So we're going to bring the idle up. It's going to start producing a little bit more boost pressure. And so that's going to force it through our motor, right? We all know how this works. It comes out the exhaust, down the DPF, right? So it's just like if you have a fire, you know, a campfire, and you blow on it, it gets hotter, right? Same thing. That's what you do. Okay? It's blowing on. Right, we're built to heat. So say we have an issue with one of these guys here, where you have a leak. Okay? So we got a little leak here, and we're bleeding off a couple of leaks. Okay? So say we have a 2 PSI leak. Okay? We're going to lose boost pressure.
The weekend, it's gonna be thinking that there's really.
Yep. So we got one more restriction
To this,
air cooler. So most modern truck air coolers, you have between a 2 to 4 PSI. Okay? So we went from 9, lost 4, so now we're down here to 3 PSI. You ain't doing your job. Right? Ain't gonna work that way. Okay? So if you're dealing with one that you just cannot build temperature in that DPF, right? That center sensor, right? You know, we're looking for that 600 degrees C, right? Say if we're hanging out down here at like 150. Ooh, wait, okay? You got a brand new DPF on it. You know, most pilots engage, you go down scan tool, right? But you can't build temperature, okay? So one reason is it may be really freaking cold outside. Been there, done that, right? Sometimes it'll be a little belligerent. Our other problem is we may have boost leak, okay? So most of these guys with these diesel trucks driving down the highway all the time, right? They pick up a little rock, couple holes in the intercooler, right? So we're back down to bleed boost, right? Got it. So if you guys are having trouble with one temperature, start looking at the possible boost problem. Okay. I know Ford and GM use manual gauge pressure. Produce does as well to measure boost. So if you go in and look at manual gauge pressure, which is typically an intake, and it's substantially low, you know, like 3 PSI.
charges is in the intake portion of the cylinder head.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Ford is that in the intake runners.
Charges right below the inlet unit on the bottom side of
Okay.
in the cast iron part of the head.
Okay. So look for a drop in boost pressure, right? It's gonna be the first thing I'm looking for. Okay. Kind of an easy way to check for boost leaks, just like checking for a hole in a tire, some soapy water. Start squirting around, you'll find your leak. Okay. Most of these I've seen with this issue are typically the 08 to 10 Super Duties. They have that gigantic intercooler in the front that seems to pick up everything off the road. That's where I've seen this the most. I've seen a Duramax with this issue too, where it had a hole punched in the intercooler. So that's another thing to be aware of when you're diagnosing these things and you're looking at them. You know, another thing is if you guys see one that comes in that has a really high soot mass index and isn't regenning, that may be your issue. Okay?
I think 2011 and 12, Dodge had a plastic tank.
Yep, Ford did too.
They would
They're eat.
What?
Plastic tanks on the
They
Charger.
were like a regular radiator with plastic tanks on it. Had a plastic inlet outlet on it,
Yep.
and they would crack. Last week,
Anybody got any questions?
then they went back to the all.
732.
All right, real quick, I want to cover one more thing real quick. So whenever you're dealing with any of the trucks with after treatment systems or even the cars, anything like that, we have to deal with one thing called derates. Okay? They're done in stages. You have stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, stage, you ain't going nowhere. Okay? Yep, you walking. So whenever they go through these stages, okay, the first one will derate you down to 65 miles per hour. The second one will get you down to 55 miles per hour. The third one will limit you to 3 miles per hour. The fourth one ceases to work the vehicle. Okay? It'll lie alone. Okay? There's different procedures to remove them out of this state. Okay? Depending on the vehicle, what you're dealing with, depends on how easy they are. GMs are probably the most difficult to get out of the state. They have to run a doser test, they have to run a DEF quality test, they have to run a regen, they have to do all of this stuff to figure that out. Okay? GMs are probably the most fickle. Okay? Fords and Dodges aren't bad. Your European cars, they're actually pretty easy to get out of substates. But your GMs are usually your most difficult. So if you get one to derate, like they've ran it completely out of DEF, you make sure you have a full tank of DEF. Okay? They hold between 5 and 7 gallons. Dodge hold.
5.5 on the regular tractor and 8 on the damn Eco Diesel.
Yep. So they hold about 5 gallons roughly. So make sure you have a full tank of DEF. Okay, what I mean by a full tank of DEF is make sure you have a full tank of DEF. Okay, that doesn't mean go put 2 gallons of DEF in it. Whenever I say you need a full tank of DEF, you need to fill to capacity. Okay? That's really important whenever you go through these reset procedures, because it's looking for a full tank of DEF. Okay? It's not looking for 30%, it's not looking for 10%. And if you're working on a GM and you do this, you go in and you reset the DEF level, it's going to set to 100%. Even if you have 5% in the tank. Okay? So 100% full of DEF. So once you know that you're at capacity on DEF, that is when you need to start pulling it out of the substate. Okay? Get it back on the road. The other thing is that if you're dealing with any of these and they ran out of DEF, all of that, the sure way to know if the vehicle is fixed and working properly is for the regen on its own. Okay? That's the only way we know that you're 100% working. Okay? So once you're done with it, go drive it. Okay? More often than not, it'll regen fairly quickly, within about 50 miles for most of them. I think Dodges are a little long-legged in that. After you get them out, they go a little bit longer.
Around 25 and 30.
Yeah.
We had a route that we ran.
Yeah. So within about 50 miles, they should go into a regen mode.
That's after you did the stationary.
Yep. Yep. So there's a whole bunch of different procedures on getting these. Basically, I tell you to go read it. You know, it's all in service information. You know, if you get one, it's don't call, you know, don't immediately pick up the phone and call me. Read it. Right? Because that's pretty much what I'm going to do. So, look it up. Any questions?
I'm getting warm in here.
It's getting warm in here. Any questions?
All those provocative pictures Steve was drawing.
All right. All right, if nobody has any questions, I'll wrap it up, gentlemen.
Pass it to me.
Guys, again, I want to thank each and every one of you for taking your time, doing these classes, making ourselves better. Again, a very big hat off to Steve. I mean, I don't have to stay up here 13 hours on a Wednesday just because I want to. Let's do a quick roll call. And again, I thank everybody for showing up. If I do not call your name, let me know at the end. Chris Yateman, Will, Dylan, Mike Allen, Sam, Dustin, Mike Henson, Justin, Tim, Steve, Julian, and James. Anybody else in here that didn't get their name called? Mr. Brayley. Yeah, he's not on the list.
G. Allen Gill.
I could have sworn you said my name.
I said Dustin Brayley and Tracy Brayley, and I got Alan out of Memphis.
You get James Aranda.
James Aranda. What city? What city, James?
Denver.
Denver.
What's that?
Just roll call.
Roll call. Thank you for getting in here from Denver.
Yeah, from Denver.
Really appreciate everybody, guys. Again, it's hot up in this office, so we're going to cut it out of here. If you need anything, let us know.